You're watching Goddess Kring, Shannon Kringen
Feed your
Goddess
demons.
Kring.
Feed your demons. Feed your demons. Feed your gods. Feed your god demons. Feeding your demons. I bring this up because my new favorite book, my new favorite Bible, I'm not a religious person, but I'm a very spiritual person, meaning that I see the oneness and the unity of all life on earth, different humans, different countries, different species of animal and plant in the entire ecosystem, and I see that the amazing universe creates itself, and to me science and God are the same thing. Well, this is my new favorite book. I went to a radical forgiveness ceremony at one of my favorite spiritual metaphysical woo-woo. I hate the term woo-woo, but that's what people say. I hate that term. But it's one of my favorite bookstores in Seattle, and there was a radical forgiveness ceremony put on by the life coach that I'm working with. I went to that and was a little blocked about fully forgiving people from my past as well as forgiving myself. But I'm glad I went to it, and then after that, I found this book sort of accidentally actually on the sale rack. It was like hugely discounted. And I'm a bargain hunter, so that appealed to me. And feeding your demons, it sounds kind of weird for people who think demons are like something that exists outside yourself. I'm sort of a non-dualistic kind of a person, and so when I see the term feeding your demons in a spiritual bookstore, I assume that that means demons that are within yourself, and that there really is nothing outside yourself. It's all mostly internal. So Feeding Your Demons is written by this American woman who was one of the first Western white American people that was like ordained in Tibet to be some kind of a nun kind of a person. I don't know whatever the terms are, but basically it's not her, it's an ancient Tibetan ritual that you do to help yourself heal. So feeding your demons, what the exercise is, it's spelled Chod. I don't know if you pronounce that Chod or something, but it's like an ancient Tibetan practice. And what it is that what you resist persists. So if there's part of yourself that you hate, like if you hate that you're overweight, or you hate that you're angry, or you hate that you're afraid of something, if you hate that part of yourself and you push it away and suppress it and try to get rid of it and cut it off and just get rid of it and eliminate it, it tends to just scream even louder and rule your life even more. And you can pretend and deny that it's not there, but it's there, it's there. So this practice of feeding your demons is about, you imagine yourself, let's say, okay, you have the demon of self-hatred, and you're trying to be positive and love yourself, be positive and love yourself, when really there's a demon inside you that hates yourself, or feels ashamed of yourself. So this practice of feeding your demons is to imagine the part of you, the self-hatred part of yourself, as sort of the demon of self-hatred. And then you imagine it. What color is it? What kind of monster is it? Does it have fangs? Is it slimy? Is it moldy? Is it dripping? Does it have tentacles? Does it look like a shark with teeth that are going to bite you? What does it look like? And then you imagine what the demon of self-hatred looks like, and then you ask it what it wants and what it needs. And it might say something like, I want you to die, I want your life, I want you, I want all of you, give me that, and then you ask, what will that make you feel? And then usually the demon will say, I'll feel better, or I will feel loved, or I will finally feel like you're paying attention to me, the demon of self-hatred. So then you feed this demon, and you imagine yourself becoming nectar. You imagine yourself dissolving into liquid nectar or some kind of drink. And you feed this demon of self-hatred, and you feed it. And you feed it until it just gorges itself and just binges, on this nectar of love and acceptance. And you're just saying, it's okay. I love you and accept you, the demon of self-hatred. And you fully give yourself as nectar to the demon of self-hatred that's within yourself. And then usually if you do this practice really sincerely, the demon of self-hatred, or whatever your demon is, will either dissolve and shrink into nothing, or it will transform from a monster of self-hatred into an ally. It might turn into a beautiful wolf or a deer or a butterfly, or I don't know, something that you just think is beautiful, a tree or a plant or a cat or some kind of food or plant or animal or just something lovely, or it'll dissolve into nothing. And this is a neat practice. It's kind of like, you know, you're doing the opposite of what mainstream culture tells you to do, to, you know, get rid of the bad stuff of yourself. And the same thing at microcosm, macrocosm, the same thing could apply for war. You know, if we do what Martin Luther King said, which is listen to the concerns of your enemy, instead of labeling your enemy, the bad guy, the evil terrorists, the bad people, instead of labeling the other people bad, or something within yourself as bad, and get rid of it. You know, like if you hate your fat on your body, if you say, I hate fat, I'm getting rid of the fat. If you listen to what your fat wants, because really, it probably just wants to be loved. And if you love yourself as a fat person, then there's a chance that you could actually lose weight and become more healthy. But if you hate how fat you are, you're probably just going to stay fat. You know what I mean? So it's like if you hate them, the enemy, then they're just going to want to fight back against you and just fight, and just perpetuate the war of us versus them. But if you learn to listen to the concerns of your enemy and figure out what they want and what they need, and you give it to them, then they usually either dissolve into nothing and the war is over, or they turn into actually friends and allies. And I agree with this philosophy. And I think there's a lot of wisdom in it, and I'm sort of practicing it a little bit, but I've sort of been holding back. But I want to focus on shrinking some of my demons by feeding them love and acceptance, and then see what's possible. Because I have a huge demon of shame and guilt and fear. Shame, guilt, fear, anxiety. I have a whole bunch of them. And there's also God demons, which I'll talk about next. God demons.